Hey everybody, welcome to Midnight Hatter Live, the weekly variety show where we talk Gundam, Gunpla, and gaming. I am Stephen Bayless, aka Midnight Hatter, your host, and joining me as always, the Blue Gamer Gundam Explainer, Adam Blue. How are you, man?
Hey, doing good. Glad we're syncing back up. Talk Gundam, gaming, tabletop, whatever else we'll get into. That
Yeah,
was cheesy.
whatever comes up. There's a lot to talk about for sure. I've got some things that I want to show off, some woes that I'd love to share with you guys this evening, and then I thought we'd go through some of these. There have been some huge Gunpla announcements as far as next year goes, and I know that usually we talk about these things over on the Gundam Explained show, but there's some that I feel like I need to express some ire with them. So
Should be good.
we're gonna be doing that tonight. Um, but yeah, how are you doing, my friend?
Yeah.
You dropped some theoretical physics on us
Oh,
this week.
that's right. Yeah, no. Yeah, that video is really fun to do just because with all this conspiracy stuff, remote viewing, the plasma orbs, moving, consciousness and all that. It's like, wow, that really is like new type stuff. And so, hey, we link the CIA documents to this and that, and it's fun to think of that. But in the way I like it though is the fact that the Gundam sci-fi is really cool sci-fi, which sometimes we don't kind of sit and think about because we're just talking about the mech technology, which is cool
Right.
sci-fi. But the world they're in, it's a pretty cool sci-fi universe, universal
Yeah.
century specifically. But yeah,
Yeah, man, you and I have talked about like the world building in Gundam a lot of times in the past, like the colony builder and the trams that they take, and just some of like the everyday technology, like having the agricultural block and the colony mirrors that simulate sunlight for the open type colonies, right? Because closed
yeah,
type colonies are a little different. There's so much consideration that goes into it, and it really just reminds me of that meme of, like, the astronauts, and there's the one astronaut looking at Earth, and there's the other astronaut with the gun to his head, and, the one astronaut saying something along the lines of, in this case, would be like, "Wait, you mean to tell me it's all Gundam?" And it's like, "It always has been."
mm,
Like
yeah, yeah. No, that's true. And the big one that stuck with me was when I learned that there's this gas, deuterium, or is it boron that I'm thinking of that's abundant on Jupiter by a
Mhm.
whole lot, and it helps with the fusion reactions. And so in Gundam, that was a whole big thing. I mean, in Unicorn, or was it Narrative, there was the battle in the gas canister storage like facility area that was in
Yeah.
space, and so that's like that, would make sense in the sci-fi way. So I love that. I love that whole sci-fi stuff.
Dude,
Yeah.
pseudo sci-fi, pseudo science fiction, pseudo sci-fi,
Yeah.
it's something I've always been fascinated with, and, like, obviously, in my own mecha setting, I wanted to come up with an element that was an energy creating element, so something that was like a source of not perpetual energy, but almost perpetual energy, and, I was inspired by the creation of, believe it or not, Teflon, because the chemical
Mm.
reaction that creates Teflon has a very unique property to it. And so I wanted to create this element, and in this case, here's what I'm gonna call it. You guys don't steal it, all right? Because I'm gonna trademark it, all right? I'm calling it Ouroboros, after the Ouroboros, because the way that it works is you have this element that has you have free electron, and it requires a specific isotope to knock loose that electron because of the strength of the chemical bond that happens with that isotope. But what happens is each atom of that element then steals an electron from the nearest one to it. And so again, Ouroboros, it becomes the snake that eats its own tail because every single atom then steals an electron and it creates a never-ending loop
Yeah.
of chemical reactions. And it's one of those things that like, of course I'm like doing research on it and saying like, is this obviously, like, I know it doesn't exist in reality, but
Right.
is it something that could be pseudo-scientifically possible in a science fiction setting? And it's like, yeah, it's
No,
theoretically
I like
possible.
that. No, because yeah,
So,
even from what I've learned, it's like something to do with messing with electrons that, that allows you to like get some sort of power,
yeah.
electricity, yeah.
Exactly. So that is what they use to power their mecha, and of course, there's an asteroid belt that is rich in Ouroboros, and it becomes the source of a lot of conflict. So,
Yeah, that's a cool
I
name too. That does work.
right,
That's
it's eons better than unobtainium.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know.
I
Uh,
like to think that I'm at least, like, 4 IQ points higher than James Cameron, but,
yeah.
then again, I
Mhm.
didn't make Aliens.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you always gotta I know, that's always funny. I feel that's one of my favorite movies of all time yet. His other movies, I never really I mean, T2 is great, but never really got into his other movies.
Yeah. Well, but, Aliens and T2, that's all you really need. It's like
Yeah, I know. Those are great. But I wonder if it's that thing where it's like you give it's like it's almost like a method actor. You have a director work on a specific thing. Like, James Cameron did sequels really well
right.
or adapting Titanic. Yeah.
He's like Irving Kershner, right?
Yes.
He's a
Yeah,
sequel doctor.
exactly. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, no.
But yeah, before we hop into tonight's topics, obviously we've got some friends in chat here. Ultronomus, Johnny Tacoma, Jamcal X, Dan Vince. Dan says Teflon is made from chemicals that give you nut cancer. I hear that if Teflon gave you nut cancer, you may be entitled to financial compensation. I'm not I'm not a lawyer. I cannot speak to that, but I do hear, obviously the asbestos stuff. If you have mesothelioma, there are some people that you can call at 2 a.m. that will hear you out and create some class action lawsuits for you. Which,
That's
dude,
right.
it's so funny the number of I don't know if you've experienced this. Do you get letters in the mail about class action lawsuits that from purchases that you might have made?
Yeah, I get that every once in a while there'll be something. Yeah. Mhm.
It was so funny, like, I think it was a couple weeks ago, I got one in the mail for a Hex-clad pan that I bought for my wife, and obviously there's, like, a class action suit against Hex-clad, and what's interesting about it is that you have to reply to the mail and say that you don't wanna be a part of it.
What?
Like,
Yeah.
you're automatically opted in, and I was like,
So
alright, I guess."
you're opted in. We're just letting you
You're
know.
yeah. Um
That'd be the worst
And then, of
newsletter.
course, we were cooking eggs this morning, and my wife goes like, "Man, this pan sucks, like, I wish I could sue them for false advertisement," and I was like,
You
"Funny you
know?
mentioned that," because
Wow.
we're already suing
Wow. Wow.
Um, but yeah, it has been a busy, hectic week. There's a lot of things going on. Obviously,
Yeah,
it's almost the end of the month. It's almost our birthdays
that's
mutually.
right.
This weekend,
Mhm.
you and I are gonna be 1 year older, 1 year well, maybe like 6 months wiser. I'm not gonna give myself a whole year of wisdom off of just growing 1 year older. But we are coming up on the end of the month where I have just launched I'm very proud of the fact that I launched a web store. There's not much on it right now, but I do want to share with you guys some of the stuff that I've made. Look at this. These are the first two. Oh, yeah. These are the first two deck boxes I have made, and I am really pleased with how they turned out.
Yeah,
Um, They're a little tight right now just because, I've only recently top coated them and made sure that they are going to be protective, but also not
yeah,
like rub paint off on your cards because that would be, you know, not
yeah.
good.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, they seal up pretty nicely.
Wow.
And so we've got here a navy blue with the Federation crest on it in gold, and we've got a cherry red with the Oz logo on it. And I want to draw attention to this in particular because I noticed that um, there are some products coming out, official Gundam card game products that feature the Oz logo. Let me show you guys the Oz logo that is used not only on the wiki, but it's used on most Gundam products that are available, official Gundam products, so to speak. We have this Oz logo that's got like an O, and then there's like a black bar, and then there's kind of like a Z shape, but it's kind of like an incomplete Z that's just ever so slightly below the O. And what I want to point out is that nowhere in the anime is this logo ever seen. All right. And so the logo that I used here, where the O and the Z are side by side and kind of
Mm.
joined together, is actually from a specific episode. I believe the episode title is it's not Distracted by Defeat, but it's something like that. Let me see here. If we go to Gundam Wing, I want to see the episode names because it is a very specific episode that you actually see the
So I guess it doesn't show up too much.
scenario for bloodshed. No, no, and that's the fascinating thing is that there are actually several Oz crests. One of them is the land combat crest, which and this is crazy, okay? So obviously, Organization of the Zodiac, Oz, their crests are the Wizard of Oz. So the land combat crest is actually a Tin Man. It looks kind of like a wizard. Let me
Interesting.
hop back over that to that
Okay,
in
so
the
there's another layer to the Oz.
oh no, it's Space Force. So the Space Force emblem is the Tin Man from Wizard of
Mhm.
Oz, right? And then it's the land combat is or the flag here is the Cowardly Lion. That's a lion crest.
Wow.
Cool, right?
Yeah. I that's
So,
there's
where's
like
the
the layers
scarecrow?
to this. That's crazy. Wait, there is no scarecrow?
No scarecrow. Maybe see what
Oh.
they need to have is they need to have like a marine combat unit for the Pisces and the Cancer mobile suits. That's the scarecrow unit, and they need a scarecrow
Oh,
flag.
dude. Dude, that's some fan fiction right there.
There you go. So, screw this frozen teardrop stuff. Like, that stuff is so, like, overplayed and it's, overly dramatic, melodramatic. Go back to basics, do the stuff that's in the TV show, just expand on it because obviously it's like you have the materials here. They set it up, they teed it up for you. Just have a third Oz force that is the Scarecrow force. Um,
That is
but yes,
cool.
in that episode, Scenario for Bloodshed, you might recall as Hiro Yui is zeroing in on that plane that's taking off, and there's like the Romefeller. Well, was it the Romefeller Foundation, guys? It's the Alliance military leadership that's advocating for peace. And Hiro has been tricked by Trace Kushernada that those are the Oz leadership. He comes up, cuts the ship in half. This is the image that comes up on the Wing Gundam's little heads up display.
Ah,
Oh, and here you go. Look, you see, you've got the Tin Man there, you've got the lion there. So
yeah,
it's like you've got all those logos in place. So this is the Oz logo that I chose to use, anime accurate on the deck box.
very nice. Very nice.
So just so you guys know, we're going deep cuts on these. We're not we're we're not cheaping out on you.
Oh, yeah, no, that looks great. Well,
Thank you.
oh, yeah, I guess with this, next thing, I got something from, your shop, which is the mat.
Dude, thank you.
This
Thank you for
is it.
showing that off.
No,
I
yeah,
am so glad that you got yours.
no, yeah, I love it because already it just feels like, it's just so much better than having that little plastic unfolded out.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks good. I love the theme of it, being in space and all that. So yeah, next time we do an online game or whatever, I'll be using it for sure.
Heck yeah, man, dude. So, I'm glad that you mentioned that because mine was supposed to arrive, like, last week, but,
Which is
here
crazy.
you can see the tracking information where it kinda went all over the East Coast, and then they decided that my, address doesn't exist, so my item was shipped back to the, distributor. So that, that sucks, but
I know that's so random. It's like, what
never
and
happened to me before.
yeah, other people have ordered this from you and have not had a problem.
Yeah, it's literally only been me. So,
Yeah, that's oh, that's funny. Yeah,
what can
so
you
that's
do?
cool. I
But
know.
there's a lot of things Gundam card game related that I'm working on. Obviously, you see the deck boxes. This is another thing that I have been working on painting today. I made a resin copy of the Gundam Assemble Leo miniature. This little bad boy. I don't have the accoutrements set up to show you the LED that's inside, but it does have a wireless LED installed in the head, which allows it to light up when it's placed on the Gundam mat, which is, I mean, come on. Like, my
Uh,
game is going to be way more immersive and way more fun than yours just because I get to put a light up Gundam on my mat.
no, that is awesome. That is even, like, what if there was some sort of, LED tabletop to put this on and illuminate through? You know what I mean? Like, just adding so much more to that.
Yeah, man. Things that, like, Bandai, please take note because
Yeah,
these are the things that you could and should do, and this is why you guys watch Midnight Hatter Live, is because these are things like the deck boxes, the miniature, these are things that I have not showed off yet on any other platform, any other medium, so
yeah.
there are some videos, some production videos that I made creating the deck boxes. I've got some videos where I'm going to show off the process for molding and installing the LED in the Leo, as well as painting it. Those are probably going to come out in the next week or so. And so, yeah, you guys get to see it here first.
That's
Pretty
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
And as if I wasn't busy enough, I do want to show you guys. Uh, it was a couple weeks ago because last week, obviously, we were playing the Gundam card game, but a couple weeks ago, let me hop into the screen share here again, and let's turn on my desk cam. So a couple weeks ago, we were working on the version 2 of my entry grade GM, and I have printed the first prototype, but I had some issues with my printer. I had that same thing happen to me again, which I might have mentioned several months ago, where there's like a pinhole sized hole uh, in the FEP sheet. And so what happens is resin doesn't leak out of it normally, but then the pressure of the build plate pressing onto the resin actually forces some resin through the pinhole and then onto the actual glass, the LCD screen that shows light up onto the resin. And so what ended up
Mm.
happening is I had like a little pool of cured resin that was on the screen. And I've talked about it before because it's not the first time that it's happened to me. The way that I resolve that is by soaking a little razor blade in acetone and then, like, gently getting under that resin and popping it off the glass. It's the only way I've found to effectively clean the glass without damaging it. So,
Mm, pretty good.
I really hate when that kind of stuff happens, but the way that we've got it here, this is actually 3 parts in one. We've got the visor, we've got the cameras, and then we've got the top sort of crown of the head. These parts all come together first, and then we've got the faceplate, the little mask here goes over the front, and then we've got the back of the head, which has those little ear caps,
Yeah.
which we discovered live on stream a couple weeks ago that
Mhm.
these are actually functional, right? They're not just
Yeah, like they
they're not
house
just goofy ears.
yeah, it was something about it, like, houses, stuff for the cameras or something, I forget,
Yeah.
something like that. But, hey, that's pretty neat, man, that that what we're seeing, that you actually have this.
Yeah, so it's not perfected yet. There's some changes that I have to
Yeah.
make in order to make it fit and make it work more effectively. But this is going to be the not only is this going to be the Patreon perk for next month is an upgraded version of this 3D print. that is a little bit easier to put together. But also, this is going to be the first entry grade conversion kit that's listed on the store for sale. Uh, it's obviously going to have translucent parts. I'm going to print in regular resin the visor and the cameras, but then I am actually going to use silicone and cast them in clear resin so that
Mm,
then they have the light piping effect. I have some, ooh, do I have the alcohol ink nearby? It might be over on my workstation, some green alcohol ink that's going to tint it, which I actually did with the Leo here. Is this was cast in clear resin, but I tinted the visor with orange alcohol ink in order to make it look so when it's off, when the light is not on, it looks like a clear yellow kind of mask, and then when the light comes on, the light is tinted orange because of the alcohol ink on top of it. So we're gonna
that's
have
cool.
that same effect going on with the GM head, is it's going to have a green tinted glass effect, and then once I mean, if you wanna install an LED, you can. If not, it's gonna have light piping from the cameras, and so if you, like, hold it up to a window or something like that, light
Yeah,
shines in, gets refracted on the inside, and makes the faceplate light up. It's gonna
that's
look
pretty
really good.
cool. I yeah, that I don't know if I've heard of the alcohol ink. That have I not heard of
I
that?
have become a huge fan of alcohol ink. Um,
Oh, that's cool.
uh,
Yeah. I don't
yeah, I use it for panel lining sometimes because it kind of flows
mm.
into channels a little bit more easily than your typical, like, Tamiya panel liner. And then you
Oh,
also have the
okay.
option of something like this where they make a what they call precipitate white alcohol ink, and so this shows up on dark colors, opaque colors. And so, for instance, we've got the Psycho Gundam up here, which
Mhm.
is like an all black mobile suit, as you guys know. Tint it, or well, panel line it with some white, or in my case, I used silver, and it like kind of makes those panel lines pop a little bit more because I think
Oh,
the Tamiya panel liner only comes in black, gray, and brown, right?
right. Mhm. Yeah.
So, you need something that is a light panel line color that's not, you know, that's
Okay,
gonna
I'm gonna
be
have to
opaque.
try that next time. That's pretty cool.
Now, be warned, because alcohol is a, pretty aggressive paint thinner,
Mhm.
I would not advise using it on particular painted kits. For example, he's not up there anymore. But I painted my high grade Hyakushiki in, like, a flat gold color. Actually, it's the exact same gold that I used on the deck
Oh.
boxes, is this, like, frosted matte
Mhm.
gold, right? Um, don't use it on that. That it will strip it off in a heartbeat.
Okay.
But on bare plastic, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out.
So, yeah, like I said, I although you guys don't hear much from me, day to day, I am working steadily in the little workshop here, so
Yeah,
I
down in your
wanted to share
dungeon.
that with you guys.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That is very cool. Yeah, because I got that, the, assemble that I wanna, yeah, build and put together myself, but I haven't really thought about what I wanna do with that yet, so,
Yeah,
um
and I've seen what's interesting is online, I've seen the Seed assemble set, and I've seen the Xeon assemble set, like, lots of people painting those. I have
Mhm,
seen very few people painting the Wings of Advance. I've only seen, like, one person painting
mm,
like, the Gundam gun cannon and gun tank set. And so I am particularly excited because not only am I, putting LEDs in them, but also, like, I feel like I'm gonna be one of the only people that's that's doing anything with the Gundam Assemble set that's, like, from Wing, the Tallgeese
yeah,
and the
yeah,
Leo.
that's a good point. Yeah, I
Um,
wonder what it is then, unless it's, like, hard to find or, um I noticed, like,
maybe.
you can even get the Japanese one easily if you really can't find it anywhere. It's
Very
interesting.
true. Very true. The Gundam card game, like, I am very happy with how well it's been received. On the one hand, it's awesome because it means that it's probably gonna it's here to stay. It's not gonna be like the old Gundam War card game, that had, like,
Okay.
the Zazabi on the cover. That one's probably like, that one didn't last very long. This one, I think, has a little bit more stickiness, but the downside to that is that you're getting lots of scalpers, and it's like, when they come out with that Hero and Relina Gundam Wing P Bandai set, and that goes up for pre-order on P Bandai, and it's gone in
Mm.
literally less than 4 seconds. That's a problem.
Yeah, it goes back to that whole thing, and then you don't wanna pre-order, and then you're like, "Ah, I'm tired of it." Yeah.
Uh,
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
And shoot, even, Taco and Yoshi here says, "I'm upset I can't find a single pack." Well, you are in luck because a good friend of mine, Dark Horse TCG, over on Instagram, Dark Horse actually picked up one of my mats, and now he's carrying the Gundam card game boosters, like single packs.
Oh,
So if you're just looking for some boosters, definitely check out Dark Horse TCG on Instagram and online. Obviously, the starter decks a little harder to come by, especially the ones with the assemble figures, like you mentioned, in English. You can get the Japanese ones if
yeah,
you're just interested in the figures. Get the Japanese ones, and then you don't
yeah.
really have to worry about the cards. But yeah, the English cards, man. Although if you are just building a deck, honestly, if you can get your hands on like one of the starters and then hop
Oh, yeah.
on TCG Player, like the cards are really not that crazy. In a lot of ways, it's cheaper to build your deck based on like a wish list and just buy like the commons off of TCG Player than it would be to buy like a booster box and just hope that you get
Oh,
enough
yeah.
of particular cards. My coworker, he got a booster box from one of his local card shops, and he and I both have the same ideal playing style, which is like a blue white control deck, like the Academy deck. Um, and even he didn't have enough of the cards he was looking for, like the Gundam Fair Act and Shaddiq. He didn't have enough cards to build his deck, let alone
Mm.
I asked him to send me some cards. I was like, "Dude, do you have any mo do you have any Ellen Karas? Like, please, sir, can I have some Ellen Karas?" Um, because, I mean, dude, I've become such a Witch from Mercury simp. Like, it's bad.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, hey, I have that, tomorrow there's a video going up, a premiere of me opening, a whole bunch of booster packs. So, I was gonna do that live, but I thought I would be so distracted by chat, I would never get through it. So,
I
I
think you
just
did the right thing.
yeah.
Are you gonna hang out, like, in chat and, like,
Yep.
text chat? Sweet.
Yeah,
Then, yeah,
yeah. I'll
that's
be there.
awesome. So, yeah,
Yeah.
you guys check it out tomorrow, 2 PM Eastern, 1 PM
Yep.
Central?
Yep. Mhm.
Yeah, I saw that go up today, and I was like, "Sweet, he's
Yeah.
putting it out."
No, I was excited just to open it. Like, I couldn't wait. And, you know, uh
Yeah.
the live thing, so, yeah.
I'm
That's why
glad
I'm not
that
really
came in,
talking
man.
about cards much. I'm gonna, wait.
Yeah, and I won't spoil anything that you pulled because you did send me a screenshot, and I was like, "Mm,
Yeah, yeah.
mm,
I should it's out there if people really wanna
mm."
dig, but yeah. And
No.
some I don't really know how amazing it is or not, but, yeah, we could talk about that later. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we'll probably talk about it tomorrow on the
Yep.
GE show, so,
Yeah, that'll be cool.
um but tonight, I wanted to get your thoughts on some of these new Gunpla announcements. There have been a lot in the last week, which is crazy. We
Yeah.
we typically don't get this kind of bum rush of Gunpla announcements. It's like, here's an announcement there, and there's a couple of like. Usually, we get like the silhouette, right? They're like,
Oh, yeah.
"Ooh, in planning phase, here's a silhouette," um, and I'm getting text messages. But I wanted to talk about these because, in particular, I have to share my thoughts on some of them. Some of them have me kind of coping and seething, as the kids say. So let's hop into Gundam Kits collection,
Okay.
and
Good
we're just gonna
source.
go through them one by one.
Yep.
The Master Grade Full Armor Double Zeta Gundam Ver Ka. What do you think?
Okay, yeah,
February 2026.
we were talking about this earlier. This is something that has been released before or hasn't been released before?
So, I'm glad you mentioned that because technically it has. Uh, so it was 2 years ago that we got the Master Grade Verka Faz,
Mhm,
which is the full armor Double Zeta Gundam, but it's the one from Gundam Sentinel. It's in that gray color scheme.
mhm.
So for all intents and purposes, this is gonna be the same thing, but in blue and white.
Okay, okay, interesting. Yeah, I think I like the other colors better.
I mean, yeah, like uh,
I like the double Zeta,
you're right.
but
And this
I'm
does
not
have a Verka double Zeta inside of it.
yeah, it
Um,
does, but I'm not crazy about the exterior armor on the double Zeta Verka or the double Zeta in general.
yeah, and what's interesting is, like, even in the anime, like, the double Zeta or double Zeta Verka, the
Yeah.
double Zeta full armor doesn't have, like, the huge rifle that the Faz has. It just has, like, the
Ah,
chest high mega
yeah.
cannon um and you only see it for a brief period in the anime anyway. It's like in the final battle against Haman. But
Mhm.
yeah, like uh this to me seems like a huge cop out is hey, let's just recolor a Verka from a couple years ago. And I mean,
Hmm.
what do you think? Because I'm not huge on the Verka line in general, right? Like the only Verka that I have is the Zeta. Um,
Yeah,
you
I'm
have
I've
like
o
the Sananju.
I have no, I have the Victory 2, the, what else do I have? Yeah, the Sinanju, exactly. Um, and yeah, the Zeta. I thought there was another one. Um, and I guess after yeah, Sinanju's pretty good. Maybe it's because maybe the bigger ones are just better. I don't know. I would love to get the double Zeta in general for Ka. So,
That's like
um,
one of the originals, I wanna say, like,
yeah,
it was one of the first ones to come out, and one thing I'll say is that the Verkov box artwork is always stunning,
yeah.
but yeah, the model kits they really don't speak to me in any sort of way.
I do like the designs though, but yeah, it's something after building that Victory 2. I just it had some issues that were showing up in the Zeta. But yeah, the Sinanji Stein was pretty good, so, yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
now it's making me think I gotta look up getting that double Zeta Verka sooner than later.
Well, you can pre-order it now. Um,
Well, not that one. Not that one.
Johnny Tacoma says, "Same,
Oh, there
same,
we go.
but
Yeah.
different."
Yeah, that's good, that's good.
And honestly, they might make some quality of life improvements to it because I do recall there were some complaints about like the structural stability of the Faz Verka, but
Oh, okay.
we shall see. Oh my goodness, did this really happen? I got booted from Gundam Kits collection. Can you believe that?
Wow.
They do not like me. Well, good thing we already know what else is on the list. We have the Master Grade Super Deformed Destiny Gundam. Let's see what we've got here.
Oh.
This one was announced as well.
Oh,
The
wow.
latest in the Master
Yeah.
Grade SD line. Wow, that is it. Okay, so I was like, it's already up for pre-order on Hobby Link Japan, which doesn't mean a whole lot because, as you guys know, you and I both had the Psycho Gundam Mark II pre-ordered on Hobby Link Japan, right?
Yep.
And
It
I
it's
ended up
still
getting
sitting
it
there.
cheaper and faster
Yeah.
from somebody else, so
Yeah, it's really been successful, but I'm surprised at this.
Yeah, and
Uh,
it's really not bad at as far as price point goes, 36 bucks.
yeah.
I know that most people are not crazy about SDs. Y You and you're growing on them. I've
Yeah.
always been a fan of SDs. Maybe it's my G generation bleeding through, but, man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because I thought they were just going through different series, you know? I thought they would get an RX 78 too, before they'd go back to Seed. Hmm.
Yeah, and, it's been such an interesting lineup because 'cause you've got the Ariel, you've got the Wing Gundam, yeah. And yeah, now
Yeah.
the Destiny. I am, of course, thrilled that Shin is getting some love because
Oh,
obviously Shin Asuka is my favorite Seed character.
yep.
Um, I feel like he's one of those characters that people hate him just because he hits a little too close to home. It's a lot like Camille, right? Like people don't like
Oh,
Camille because Camille reminds them too much of themselves, and that
yeah, kinda having that whiny arrogance. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, something about being a teenager, and that's one of the things that we love about Gundam, right? Is that it represents people as they are and not as like these idealized forms that we wish we could be.
that's right.
Um,
There's no superheroes in it.
yeah, no superheroes.
Mhm.
Uh, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about this. I don't have any master grade SD kits, but if if
Looks
you
good.
told me, "Hey, you have to buy a master grade SD," and this was the lineup, like what we have to date so far, including this pre-order, this would be the one I get.
And it's funny because I would in general, the Destiny's a little too edgy for me, but it works well in these proportions, I think. Yeah, like, this really does look cool, and it's actually the same reason I ended up getting the, Master Grade SD, Seed, just in th or the, Strike. Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
the proportions just looked good, yeah.
Well, I mean, of course, dude, you know me is like if we're talking seed and we're talking like what the Destiny looks like.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's a good one, and
I
with the
mean,
wings out.
it practically shares the same silhouette and the same, sort of
Yeah, it really
colorway
does.
as the Zeta, and so this is the for those of you listening and not watching, I've got the SD cross silhouette Zeta Gundam here, and I mean, yeah, the blue shoulders, the white legs,
The black and red for the
black and
back,
red wings, yeah.
wings, yeah,
You just don't have those, like, goofy strike packs. I'm not a
yeah.
big fan of, like, packs, right? Like
Yeah, it's good for toys, I guess. Yeah.
yeah. So, let's move on to the next, item, which this one was announced. Uh, if we can go in there, Shalia's Rick Dom
Ah, that's what I
from
saw, okay.
G-Quux. So it's the Shalia Bull use Rick Dom. This is this is on Gundam Info, but it's not the. Oh man, let me see if I can find a an image of the Gunpla.
Uh-uh,
Ah, there we go.
there we
Good
go.
old Hobby Link Japan. I love that it's showing the price points for us too. So
Yeah.
26.74. You have a few of the G-Quux line, right? So you have the G-Quux itself.
Yeah,
You have Sugai's Gelgoog.
yep, and the
You have
police.
one of the police Zakus.
Yeah, I like this, though. I like this one.
This
It
to me looks like uh so like you know how the seed has like the Dom Trooper?
Yeah,
This looks like the Seed Dom Trooper 2. So, like, you know how there's, like, the Rick Dom 2 in Gundam that,
yeah.
you see it a lot, like, in Thunderbolt, you see it, I can't think of, like, any other anime where you actually see the Rick Dom 2. Do you know of any
No, I
appearances?
can't think off the top of my head, yeah.
It's not in Zeta. I don't think it's in 0083 as far as I remember. Yeah, the Rick Dom 2 is one of those, like, kind of MSV side story type mobile suits. It shows up in video games, but
Right.
isn't really. So to me, this looks like the Rick Dom 2, but in, like, seed proportions.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I like that because I like how Seed kinda does that style. Uh,
Now, of course, it does have that 3rd leg on the back, which is kinda goofy. Um,
I like
I
it.
yeah, I was gonna say
Uh,
part of me likes it
yeah,
just at you know,
because it's functional.
it is. Yeah, it reminds me of, like, the way that the ZAML
Yeah,
looks in 0083. It's like this land use, hover tank,
yeah.
basically. But yeah, I mean, why not focus on instead of Shalia Bull's Rickdom, why not focus on because they made the Black TriStar ones, right?
Yeah, so they do have that, although that's it's funny because I remember that being announced, but I haven't heard anything more about it or if it even has, released yet.
Let's take a look for that. So there's the G-Quux. Here we go, the Gaia and Ortega Rickdom.
Uh,
I mean,
Interesting.
it's been
Which coming
announced.
soon.
Interesting that they don't have an image of that, but they have the one of the Shalia Bull.
Yeah.
Curious. Hmm.
Yeah, but I wonder how much that Shalia one's gonna sell. Like, I feel like that's gonna be a big one.
I mean, is it really that much different than the Gaia Ortega version?
No, but I think it's because in lore, in my opinion, I think people are gonna buy it because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that checks out.
Because I think he
Uh,
became one of the, standout characters. If you're gonna, talk about it, anyone was to say something positive about it, it would be that character.
oh, yeah, 100%. Uh, and that was my big gripe with G-Quux in general, is that the most popular character was a legacy character that was just rewritten to have a bigger role.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you know
And they went deep. They went deep with the backstory, give him motivation and everything, more than the other
Yeah, like
characters.
going to Jupiter and like
Yeah,
seeing Xeon's like true villainy at work, which was interesting.
yeah.
Um, but this is not the only G-Quux uh kit
Oh,
that was announced, right? Because we've got a G-Quux Endymion unit, which,
oh,
man, the Japanese love the word Endymion.
yeah.
Obviously, the Hawk of Endymion is the other name for Mulaflaga in Seed.
Ah,
So,
that's
another one of those deep cuts. Oh man, the writers of G-Quux, man, they really get Gundam. They're true Gundam fans because this stuff's just so silly to me. Like, uh, yeah,
no, but I like that. Look, it it's more of the Evangelion side of everything and not the Gundam side of everything.
yeah.
So
So this is an interesting aside. Let me ask you this before we dive into the Endymion unit awakened G-Quux,
okay.
because I caught myself today watching some scenes from UC Engage. Mostly I was just looking for, some of those animated scenes of like the Zeta Gundam and that claw arm that it's equipped with in Engage. And obviously there's some fan fiction elements to that, and there's a lot of, like, recreated scenes. In particular, they recreated the scenes from Zeta at the end, like in the theater, where Camille shows up with the gun
Yeah.
and Hamon's there, and then like, "Oh no, Shirako," and like but in UC Engage, it's Camille, Judo, and Amuro all pointing a gun at Char, and then Shirako shows up, and then it becomes this like 3 versus 3 battle outside of Axis. And, it's interesting, obviously, you've got this there are so many there's so much more stakes involved when it's not just Amuro and Char fighting over Axis, it's
Yeah.
Amuro, Char, Camille. Shirako, Judo, and Haman, right? There's, like, a lot of tension going on there, a lot of drama. They also recreated that scene in G-Quux with, Shalia Bull
Oh, yeah.
and, wait, no, was it
It
Shalia
ha
Bull? No, it was Char. It was Char and
Yeah,
Caecilian,
Shar and Machu
and then
and
Machu falls in, and it's
yeah.
like a big slapstick moment, and then, of course, magical girl Char transforms. Um, if we're talking about, like, fan fiction moments that are, like, reimagined, do you prefer the UC Engage version of events or the GQuux version of events?
Yeah, that's interesting. Probably just the UC Engage since it doesn't really do anything. I don't know. I don't know. That's that's a good question. What about you?
Well, I mean, it's kind of a loaded question, right? Like, you guys kind of already know how I feel.
Well, sure, yeah, but I'm curious what you're thinking. Like, what is your though interpretation of what they did with UC Engage?
Um, I feel the same about UC Engage that I do about GQuux in a lot of ways, where it is
Okay,
like it's a fan fiction. It's like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if, right? It's like
yeah,
Gundam What If. But I think that there are some interesting things that UC Engage does that could have been done in GQuux. Like I love the whole scene where Shar goes to Axis and it's like UC 88 and this is obviously a period that we don't know what Shar was doing at the time. And then he
yeah,
stumbles on all of the Glemmy and Puru clones and it's
yeah.
like, what you know,
That's a good point.
that
Yep.
is something that in theory could have happened.
Mhm.
It's not just a, "Hey, what
What
if
if
this did happen?" It's
instead?
like,
Yeah,
"Hey, in theory, it could have happened, but, it's lost to history." Whereas GQuux and then most of the rest of UC Engage, like, there's the whole, Camille versus the Engage Zero and Rosamy in the Mark II, like, that whole thing obviously didn't happen. It's like, "Okay,
yeah,
that's a cool what if," but it didn't happen. Same thing with, like, Rosamy in the Psycho Gundam Mark One versus Amuro and Char instead of 4 versus Char and Camille at Kilimanjaro. And then I think even in that scene at Kilimanjaro, it's not, Jared in the Bjarlant, it's Gates Kappa in the Bjarlant. So that again, that's a cool what if, like if
mm,
Amuro did join Ayug at the time when he met them, fighting Buran, but we know that that didn't happen because the series of events that happened in Zeta Gundam didn't lend credence to that. Whereas the idea that Char snuck into Axis and was trying to take over Xeon during Double Zeta, that could have happened.
yeah.
Whereas, like, again, GQuux, it's like, here are all these things that, hey, they could have happened, but, like, also they didn't because we know that they didn't.
Yeah. No, that's a good point, and I guess there's 2 different audiences because one could be a well-structured story that makes you think, "Wow, it's interesting how this fits in, and it doesn't really mess with anything," but then that might be boring for most people, and people want to see the fantastical, so,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. What's a perfect example is, like, something like Rogue One, Star
Yeah,
Wars.
that is.
Right, like, because Rogue One is like, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool if this did happen?" And it could have, well, I mean, obviously, they with Star Wars, there's not, like, this loose canon where,
Right.
it's funny I said loose canon, but, this is something that take it or leave it, it didn't exist in the original trilogy, but added to the original trilogy, it doesn't take anything away.
Yeah.
When you start throwing things like UC Engage and GQuux into Gundam, those are things that, like, we know didn't happen. Same with, like, Thunderbolt and Origin. It's like,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
AOZ uh, you know, for example, like, Advance of Zeta is something that it's like, it really does conflict with the events that we see on screen.
yeah.
Um, so
Yeah,
just
no, I've come to really accept all that with, like, the idea of here's something that could have happened, but it doesn't really change anything. It's just a cool story that could have happened. Yeah, that's like with Thunderbolt and all that. Yeah.
Mhm. So all that is to say, no, I will not be picking up the G-Quux Endymion unit.
Yeah.
Although it is cool what they did there, like, with the opening of the mouth and all that good stuff. Like, it
Yeah.
is surprising to me that they didn't just release this as, like, an option set for the existing G-Quux. Like, is there
That that's the thing that bothers me. It's just like this upgrade for the new Kirby game or the old Kirby game on Switch 2. It's $20 if you wanna get a good frame rate. It's I mean, yeah, you get extra content, but you coulda just sold that separately. Like, it's the same thing, but hey.
paid DLC?
Yeah, exactly. And actually, when it comes to DLC, we would rather have it as a like the Marisol flight unit that the Ariel had. They didn't just sell another Ariel with it. I think it was just separate.
Very true.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I don't have the Mirasol flight unit. Did you pick one up?
I did, but I actually gave it to Ashley, Tookaholic.
Oh, cool, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know if it fits on any of the other Witch from Mercury kits?
No, that's the thing. I didn't build it or anything. Yeah.
I I mean, I don't I'm pretty sure that, like, most of the Witch from Mercury kits aren't really compatible with one another. I'm sure that it fits on, like, the Ilfrith and, like, you know, other kits that have the same frame as the Ariel, but, like, I'm looking at the Desultor here, and I'm like, I don't think that the Mirasol flight unit would fit on this guy.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I wonder. I mean, they have been experimenting with that anyway, I think with build, the build stuff,
Of
right?
course,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, dude, the Desultor is one of my
Yeah, that's a good
favorite
looking
mobile
one.
suits of all time. Like, this thing is so sick.
That's just a
Like,
cool mech,
yeah,
you know?
just a cool mech, just
Yep.
ODST Spartan right here.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah.
Um, Now what other Gunpla have been announced? Let's see. Let's see if Gundam Kits collection will let me back in now that I've taken a break. That's the craziest thing. I've never had that happen to me before.
Yeah, that was strange.
Oh, hey, look at that. We got some new announcements even within
Oh,
the
wow.
5 minutes that that we were locked out. Is the P Bandai Master Grade 1/100th Providence Gundam special coating version. Do you have any special coating Gundams?
Yes,
Now the
I have.
Gundam Universe figures don't count. Those that the
Oh,
new
that's
wing,
funny.
those
No,
don't
because
count.
no, but I've got the Mark II, uh well, it's the Gundam base, but I think it has a special coating on it. But it's not like,
Nice.
um yeah, forget does it say? Or maybe that's not. I don't know, there's something. What about you? Do you have any?
No, I always wanted to buy that P Bandai Gundam base special that is the Grips War set that has
Oh,
the Hyakushiki, the
yeah,
Gundam Mark II, and the UC 88 Zeta. The
that's a
that
good one.
that to me, like, that's probably my grail set. I make the Leonardo DiCaprio face from Wolf of Wall Street, like,
And
gotta
it
have
has
it.
the, 3 the stand for the
Yeah, the
3
triple stand.
triple, yeah.
Which I love that it's basically like an upgraded version of the Grips War set that they used to make, like, before they made
Oh,
the
yeah,
revived version of those kits, so,
yeah,
yeah, shout out to Byron, the Gustav Karl Type 00.
that looks
I
good.
mean, it's pretty sweet looking. I'm not
Yeah.
a huge Gustav Karl fan, but, having
Yeah,
another
I
colorway is pretty
usually
slick.
never think about it, but in this case, I'm like, "Maybe I need to. Maybe I need to think about it more." It's just like with your wife, it's just sometimes you just don't care and you take it for granted, and you're like, "No, no, you gotta think about
I was wondering where you were going with that. I was
it."
like,
Nah,
"Wait a
okay.
second. You better not be thinking twice about my wife." This one, I can't believe I forgot it. The Figurize Tifa deal from
Oh,
Gundam X.
that's a
This is
good one. I
amazing.
had no idea. Did they announce that before?
No, this is like, well, I
The f
mean, obviously, it was announced in the last few days, but yeah, this is all
Oh,
new,
okay.
like,
Wow.
amazing. So 2 faces, 1 set of unpainted face parts, the G controller, the dome, long hair parts, hand parts.
G
It just says hand
controller.
parts 1 set. I what does that mean?
Yeah. Oh, the hands that
Um,
do
oh,
that go
right,
together.
she has to do the little prayer pause.
But the G
Um,
controller, that okay, this is because I have that X, in its Falcon mode, like, I would love to have that there with it. That is cool. Oh,
yeah.
the sitting version? Wow.
Right, with action share included.
Action chair. No, but I like that. That would be more of how I would want to display it, but it's funny how they do this. They make these and I guess it's more doll-like because they keep coming out with the female ones for because it's not like this is necessarily like waifu type thing, you know what I
No, I
mean?
mean,
So I wonder why they don't, come, make a Garrett or anyone, you know?
yeah, it is interesting, isn't it? Like,
'Cause I know they do the SH figure arts of, like, the male characters, but so, yeah, it's just interesting that they're coming out with that 6-inch Char, SH figure arts,
that's true.
you
But
know?
isn't it is it the G-Quux version of Char?
Oh, you know what? I wasn't paying attention. Is it I bet that's what it is. That's how they're
I
doing
wanna say 'cause, like, you and I talked about I mean, not like, what does it matter? It's the same Char,
well,
right?
I know, I'm curious because 'cause they're gonna have that new RX-78-2 Gundam also, and it is a little different.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, it's fascinating to me, but, I mean, I think it's cool. Like I
Yeah,
said,
I like it.
and to your point, it's not even like they go full waifu, like, why did we get Nika Nanaura from Witch from Mercury and not Cecilia?
Yeah. Yeah, I know, there's a bunch of interesting,
Although,
choices.
honestly, like, I would probably get, Noria and Sophie, like,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Earth the Earth pilots because, you know
Yeah, they would go with their mobile suits. They're more of the pilot type.
exactly.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Either that or, like, Shadiq's harem of,
Yeah.
of pilots like Renee and Sabine. Um, but yeah, this is so awesome. I love that it comes with, like, a seated skirt add-on that's like,
Yeah.
you just take the legs off and just pop this seated version
That's I do have
and
because
finger
I
gun.
even bought the, Luna Mario Hawk earlier this year. I don't remember if I did a review on that. I don't think I did. I
I don't think you did either. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, there
Okay.
you go again. It's like, "Damn that hatter streaming my website. Not for long, I will shut him down."
Shut it down. But, no, I did, get a chat from Taco and Yoshi that, obviously there are gonna be some master grade, Sentinel reprints, which I guess goes in line with the master grade Verka Double Zeta, right? If you're gonna get
Yeah.
an EXS and you're gonna get a Deep Striker, you
Oh,
can get a
yeah.
Double Zeta, but then, that's more in line with, like, the Faz than the true Double Zeta.
But you know what? I think those are, in my eyes, and maybe that's what I need to build soon. Those are like kind of the main, not the main. How do I explain it? You brought it up with the S Gundam, like every Gunpla builder, or I guess if you're a Gundam fan that builds Gunpla, you would build an S Gundam
You
or one
gotta
of
build
these
an S
Sentinel
Gundam.
suits or the Double Zeta. So yeah, I need to get to that.
You and me both. I built the S Gundam booster unit. And, like, man, the so first of all, that kit is so old, it's from the '90s, and, like, um, and it was one of the first kits that I tried scribing my own panel lines on, and I had been looking in magazines, and I saw, like, "Ooh, there's these people that do the thing where they cut the shoulder in half and then, like, slide it and have it, like, separated and then put, like, a little mesh in there." And so I went and I bought, like, a mesh it's like a mesh, sink drain, And I was like,
Okay.
"Oh, I'll cut pieces off of that, and that'll be the mesh that I use underneath, and it's like metal and it looks cool." And I didn't realize like, oh, when you cut mesh and you don't like glue it, it just comes apart. So it just
Oh,
I, the
y
things that you learn
I
when
know, but that was cool that you tried that. I didn't know about that. That was a technique that was going on?
yeah, I mean, that's like one of the popular things that you can do is like to get like either mesh or like punched metal kind of textures because that's ultimately like all Gunpla customization. At the end of the day, I feel like texture is the number one thing that kind of
You have to achieve so it doesn't look like the plastic that it is.
exactly.
Yeah,
It's why you and I love our matte top coat, right?
yeah,
Because it makes it look more like a military vehicle and not just like a
right.
plastic toy. Um, and so, yeah, whenever you can incorporate pieces of actual metal or pieces of actual fabric into your builds, those are the things that are going to take it to the next level. Um, I am not there yet. Uh, I even made the joke today with Gogu guys. You know, I could have just painted my Gundam Assemble minis, but because it's me, like I've got to
Yeah.
shove an LED up its butt and
Yeah, you gotta yeah, I know, but that's cool. That's what's cool about that. Yeah,
I mean, that's just my thing. Like, I
yeah,
love light. I love, those types of effects, and so that's always gonna be something that I invest heavily in, whether it's fluorescence, whether it's LEDs, um, even, doing the whole microcontroller things. Like, those are things that I am very passionate about incorporating into my Gunpla builds, even if my painting isn't quite where it should be.
yeah, well, yeah, stuff always looks great, so yeah, I think
Ah,
it's
well, you're
normal.
very kind.
Yeah. Oh, no, no.
Um, but yeah, that is all that I have for tonight. Obviously, we covered a lot of ground tonight. I got to show off some of these lovely deck boxes that we put together. And man, I'm just excited to get these in some people's hands. This one right here, this one's coming to you, big guy.
Can't
Um,
wait.
happy birthday. Um,
Awesome.
and there are gonna be some prizes. Like I said, I made some production videos of making these guys, and, there's gonna be some hidden gems inside these when they go out the door, so I hope you're
Ooh.
looking forward to those.
Ooh.
Again, check out some of, Adam's amateur astrophysics videos from
Yeah,
this week, and we've got the Gundam Explained show tomorrow. If you
yep,
are around in the afternoon, around lunchtime as well, check out Adam's unboxing video of the Gundam card game booster packs.
yep.
I'm gonna have to come up with, like, a way to trade you for some of these
Oh, okay.
cards.
I'm down.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll come up with something.
Yeah.
In the meantime, thank you, Adam. As always, love having you on,
Oh, yeah.
and thank you guys for keeping the chat lively and keeping me on task when it comes to some of these Gunpla announcements because you know I don't pay attention unless it's got a ZETA in it,
Yeah,
and
a good point.
but yeah, lots of exciting things to come. Hope you guys will stick along with me for the ride. Until next time, catch y'all later.
See y'all.